What's up, everyone? Welcome once again to the channel. It's your boy Luis Portelles, and today we're going to be talking about Miss Universe 2025. And this is a very important video, a very exciting one, because I'm going to be presenting to you guys my early favorites before the preliminary competition. And I think that this is a very important list because it reflects the candidate that, in my opinion, have been standing out all throughout the competition, the activities, the different events up until this point. Going into prelims, though, everything might change because we know that that is one of the most important competitions. Everything is scored, and it quite literally determines who makes the top 30 during finals, right? When I was making my list of those who are standing out, or those who I like, those who I would like to see go further in the competition, I actually came up with the top 50, which is a little bit too much. So I cut it down to a top 40 that I will be presenting to you guys here. Now, to make things effective and keep it short, let us just acknowledge that everyone is beautiful, everyone is capable, everyone has a great face and a great physique. So I'm not going to get into those things. I'm actually just going to highlight their strengths and the things that I feel like they need to work on, they need to improve on going into prelims if they expect to make the top 30 during finals. Well, if you enjoyed this type of content, you already know what to do. Go ahead and drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this almost every single day, especially leading to finals. And do not forget to be part of the conversation in the comment section down below. Go ahead and express yourself. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first delegate that I would like to talk about on my list is no other than Miss Universe Nicaragua. And honestly, I feel like her personality has been one of the biggest discovery of this season. She has such a bubbly, just likable, extroverted personality that really makes her a candidate that we want to keep watching. Also, I don't know if it's because of the hype that came after Shanice won Miss Universe a couple of years ago, but the girls from Nicaragua has been very consistent with their preparation, performance, training, all of those things. In the latest activities, I feel like her performance has been pretty solid as well. So I am eager to see if she will be able to carry that into prelims. At 39 on my list, we have Miss Universe Bolivia, a candidate that I talked about just yesterday here on the channel as one of the rising stars in the competition. And I do believe that with the right approach, she might be able to crack the top 30 during finals, but it all depends of the preliminary competition. You know, I mentioned that early in the competition, some of her looks, some of the branding, some of the styling was not really my cup of tea. But the further that we have been getting into the competition, the more consistent she has become for me. And also, I feel like the one thing that really captured my attention was her performance skills. Technically speaking, she is very precise, and I think that that will most definitely play in her advantage going into prelims, going into finals. So hopefully the performance is impeccable so that she can secure that top 30 spot. The next candidate on my list is, of course, Miss Universe Botswana, a lady that I have been supporting since the very beginning when she was crowned, and that I see so much potential in her. I've actually been getting a lot of messages from fans from Botswana saying that she hasn't been featured as much in my predictions. To be honest, I feel like for some of the activities, she has kind of played it safe. And what I mean by that is that she has always been gorgeous, a standout, the potential is right there. But I feel like compared to some of the other ladies that she's going head to head against, she often stays on the safe side. Whether it is with the fashion, whether it's her personality, she is not so extroverted. So it's not always easy to read her. Or even with the performance, I feel like she has a pretty conservative, still very solid technical skills when it comes to the walk and all of those things. Now, going into prelims, I'm going to be honest, I feel like she needs to get a little bit out of her shell and focus on the performance, because there's no talking, there's no nothing in prelims. It's all about how you look and how you behave on stage. So this will definitely be a determining moment for her that I'm hoping she will be able to capitalize on. Miss Universe El Salvador has been a very pleasing surprise to me, because just a couple of years ago, I mean, arguably people will say that El Salvador didn't really have so much of a sash factor or so many like strong delegates going into Miss Universe. But it is undeniable that maybe since we had like Miss Universe in El Salvador, they have been really investing into the preparation of the delegates. And I feel like this year's delegate, Julia is her name, is living proof of that. You can tell that on the runway, she really knows how to carry herself. She's very comfortable. Of course, she's gorgeous. She has delivered on the fashion. So I think that if she's able to keep her momentum going into prelims, and remembering that everyone is probably going to, you know, amp up their performance, amp up their styling, everything is going to go up 10 notches. I think that also she could be one of those potentially making the cut during finals. At 36 on my list, we have Miss Universe Namibia, who we have mentioned a couple of times here on the channel, and I feel like she stands out for all of the right reasons. I mean, she doesn't look like your average Miss Universe delegate. She doesn't look like most of the other delegates in the competition this year. So I feel like already by that, she has an edge, something that sets her apart from everyone else and makes her unique. In other videos, I have commented about the fact that I feel like she gives sometimes a little bit more of a model vibe, more than like a pageant walk or pageant training. So again, I think that that might play in her favor in certain scenarios in the competition. But my fear for her is that going into prelims, it's all about technical, right? Well, the dress, the evening gown, she can definitely have a wonderful gown and do incredibly well in that. I feel like the model walk will kind of help when it comes to that. But going into the swimsuit round, I feel like she will need to focus a little bit more in the technicalities, in the footwork, in the turns, in the pivots, more than what we saw during the swimsuit show a couple of days ago. I think that's her challenge going into prelims. If she's able to conquer that, I feel like she might be able to secure her spot in the top 30. Moving on the list, we have Miss Universe Angola, a candidate that I have complimented a couple of times because of her facial beauty, her physical beauty, and all of those things that I'm not going to be redundant about. I feel like in terms of performance, she has been pretty consistent as well in most of the different, presentations, opening with the looks, swimsuit show with the performance. I feel like she is an overall very, very well-rounded candidate. Personality is very likable, very relatable, very chill. So that's definitely okay. But I do think that going into prelims, going into finals, she needs to step it up a little bit more. Not because there's something wrong with what she's doing already, but because everyone else is stepping it up a little bit further. So I think that in order to not get overshadowed or simply, outperformed by other people, I hope that she has kept a couple of tricks on her sleeve because I feel like she will need them. For me, she's very close to making the top 30. So hopefully with the right performance, the right energy, the right approach, she might be able to do it. At 34 on my list, we have Miss Universe Netherlands, a candidate that I feel like has definitely become one of the standouts within the European continent. And if I'm being honest, I feel like she's one of those who has been turning looks and really polishing every single appearance for the longest time since the beginning of the pageant. On the runway and on the technical skill, I feel like she is doing very good. However, she cannot be too complacent because there's a couple of delegates, especially from the European region, that have been really stepping it up going into prelims, going into finals. And there's still a couple of them that are leading the race, in my opinion. We'll talk about them in just a couple of moments. But I feel like Netherlands is not out yet. She might be able to surprise us during prelims if she has kept a couple of secrets from us. Miss USA has been very impressive this year, and I think I need to mention for the 10th time that I want to give her flowers because she has accomplished so much in so little time. I feel like for her to be able to, arrive in Thailand only a couple of days after her coronation and still be able to go head to head with some of these other front runners is truly remarkable. I feel like performance-wise, physically, in every single aspect, she has been really a standout. There's been a couple of instances where I felt like the wardrobe wasn't necessarily spot on depending on the event or depending on the activities, but nothing tragic at the same time, nothing too drastic. Again, considering that they had so little time to put it all together, is still very impressive. I really hope that she has a very good gown when it comes to the preliminary competition. I feel like that might be able to make it or break it. If you look at this, she's right now at my 3rd position on the list. So she is so close to the top 30. All she needs is a really good gown, a really good performance for the swimsuit round, because I'm pretty sure that she nailed the closed door interview. If she manages those things, I think she will be in the top 30. We'll see. At 32 on my list, we have Miss Universe Peru. And depending who you're talking to, some people might see her as a front runner and they might put her really up in the list. And some people actually are very divided when it comes to her and her participation at Miss Universe this year. I personally think that she's a beautiful girl. I feel like she has been very consistent all throughout. Performance-wise, very decent. Looks-wise, with the wardrobe, very decent as well. So I wouldn't really rule her out as a contestant, and the fact that she might be able to place during finals. But again, I feel like, prelims will be a very decisive moment for her, because when you look at the public opinion and the way that people perceive her, which honestly might also be the same perception that some of the judges might have. Some people love her, some people don't see it for her. So her prelims performance will be decisive in the sense that she needs to leave no room for doubt. She needs to prove that she is so good, so consistent that no one can rule her out. At 31 on my list, we have Miss Universe Paraguay, Janina Gomez. And I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like she's been doing fine all throughout the competition. There's nothing drastically Like, there's nothing wrong with her preparations, with her public appearances, or anything like that. If I'm also going to be honest with you guys, there have not really been many moments in the competition where I've been like, wow, Miss Paraguay really stole the spotlight in this moment. So I feel like she has been going, with the flow. She's like with the average candidates, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure she will do very well. Some people were complaining that, her boyfriend was one of the judges for one of the evaluated interviews. And I also saw that she is doing extremely well when it comes to the popular voting and some of the other categories that are votes. So, she's definitely proved that she can bring that commercial appeal, that there's people supporting her and backing her up. And I'm sure that those things will be reflected in the results. That's why I'm kind of staying conservative with her. I'm putting her at 31, considering that, she hasn't really wowed me yet, but there are indicators that, there are things going on in her favor. Officially, we are getting into the top 30 of my list, and the candidate that I have at number 30 is Democratic Republic of the Congo. That's right, Dorcas. I've been dying to talk about her for a while because a lot of people keep on bringing her up, and I see the potential. I see this girl is so strong. She has so much going on for herself. She has a lot of support. She's doing extremely well in the popular vote. So again, I feel like those things will play in her favor. She has a pretty strong walk, very solid looks. The one thing that I keep on that comes to mind when I think of her is that sometimes in some of her photos she portrays as very serious. And I know I've watched some of her videos and her interviews and her social media and stuff, and I see her smiling, and I think that she can be a little bit more bubbly. But I feel like in these moments when the cameras are on you for the official telecast of the show or whatever, she needs to be able to allow her personality to shine through a little bit more, because for the average person, when they think of a beauty queen, they want someone that is likable, relatable, that is easily accessible, So I think that the serious face sometimes gives a little bit more of model, of runway, editorial vibes, which I don't know if she has any background in that. But I feel like, honestly, with something as simple as a smile, she could go a long way. She has a beautiful face, beautiful smile. So there's no reason why she shouldn't be in the top 30. That's why I'm staying conservative. I have her at 30, but I think she might be able to go even further with the right performance. At 29 on my list, I have Miss Universe Argentina. And I think that I'm being a little bit too conservative when it comes to Argentina, because for a lot of people, she is a front runner. She is one of the strongest delegates in the batch. And there is no questioning that she is one of the most beautiful as well. That is a fact. I think that Osmel even named her one of his 5 favorites a couple of days ago. And quite frankly, facially, physically, we talked about that. Looks with the gowns and the different presentations, really on point. Performance, pretty strong. The one reason why I have her at this position is because I feel like she has often been associated with other frontrunners that might be able to get a little bit more visibility on themselves, and because of that, I feel like she has been a little bit overshadowed. I would like to see her shine a little bit more with a light of her own, which I'm pretty sure, I'm very confident that she can, and I'm hoping that prelims will be that moment for her. Remember, this is a make or break moment. I don't see her being unplaced, and I think that she can go further than 29. So I'm staying conservative here. I just want that challenge for her. Shine with your own light. Let's see. At number 28 on my list, we have Miss Universe Cambodia. And once again, I feel like I am staying slightly conservative when it comes to this. You can go and check out all my videos. I feel like Cambodia has managed to stand out, to make her mark, to really set herself aside from everyone else, whether it is with the performance, whether it is with the looks, whether it is with her story, very important, with the things that have been said and done to her and how she handled those things. I feel like it's not just about her performance and her looks anymore. It's also about how inspiring she has become for a lot of people. Obviously, we also have to acknowledge that there are politics involved this year, considering the political tensions between Thailand and Cambodia. So I don't know if any of this will play into the decision making. It shouldn't. I feel like there's no political forces involved as of right now at Miss Universe. So if things were fair, I think that she deserves a placement. Truth be told, she can go further. Again, I'm staying conservative with her in the ranking because I feel like, there's different things to consider, but I have no doubt in my heart that she can do really well. 27 on my list, we have Miss Universe Cuba, my very own, of course. And I have to tell you guys that since the very beginning of the competition, honestly, before the competition started and Lina was crowned in Miami, there's been so much conversation around her, about her looks, her technical skills. Everything about this girl has been questioned. And I feel like the moment that she arrived in Thailand and she started presenting her rollout towards the crown, the different looks, the wardrobe, the communication skills, the performance skills. She really started gaining momentum. Although people were criticizing, she was proving them wrong one by one. So that's definitely not a concern. I feel like she has earned her position with the, within the top 30 during finals. So we'll see if she's able to maintain that. My advice for her is really focus on the technicalities, okay? I feel like out of the entire thing, the walk sometimes is the one thing that she struggles the most. And I know that she has prepared extensively for this. I know that she has, improved also exponentially when you look at where she started and where she is at the moment. But there is still room for improvement, in my opinion. So I'm putting her at number 27, trusting that she will amp it up for prelims and that she can make it during finals. But I think that it's a little bit of a challenge and she needs to be able to overcome it. At number 26, we have Miss Universe Zimbabwe. And I'll say it right away, Miss Universe Zimbabwe has one of the deadliest face cards of the entire competition. Such a beautiful girl. I've also mentioned in other videos that she comes across as such a confident woman. She seems to be very at ease, very confident on stage, and that's definitely the vibe. That's definitely how you want to present on stage. I do think that there's room for improvement in some of the styling and sometimes in some of the attention to the technique when she is walking, So that's why I feel like prelims might be one of those make or break type of moments for her. Yes, there is a part of the evaluation that is all about the confidence and how you present on stage, but do not forget that they will also be looking at the technicalities and the precision. So I feel like that will be the one thing that she needs to remember going into prelims if she wants to make it to top 30 during finals. I believe in her. That's why she's in my position 26. But again, let's not forget that it's a challenge you must deliver. At 25 on my list, we have Miss Universe Vietnam, who I think has an incredible story and definitely has been one of the most interesting delegates to follow this year. She has been extremely intentional about her rollout, the way that she presents herself with the different clothes, the different concepts that she has been including into her preparation. I also really like the way that she has empowered herself with her story in terms of like being a trans woman, and now she's rolling out this entire narrative of wanting to be the first trans winner of Miss Universe, which will be a first time in history. I think that performance-wise, she is pretty solid. Let's not forget that this is a former title holder of Miss International Queen, and if trans pageants are known for one thing, is performance. So I'm pretty sure that she can deliver on that end. I have no doubt that she will deliver when it comes to the wardrobe as well. Vietnamese designers are just incredible, so I have no concerns when it comes to that. And I guess that it's only a matter of like, let's see how she does, whether she makes it to top 30 or not. I feel like a closed door interview will definitely play a role in that. And it also depends on whether the judges see it for her or not. Are they ready for a trans title holder? Only time will tell. At number 24 on the list, we have Miss Universe South Africa. That's right. I believe in my girl, Melissa. I know that she can make it. I know that she has what it takes. And I have been praising some of the things that I really love about her, some of the things that I feel like she has been doing extremely well. I also have to acknowledge that for some reason, there's this ongoing narrative on the internet that some people really, really like her, like myself, and some people really, really don't see it for her. Everyone seems to have comments about the styling and the hair and all of these different factors. And at the end of the day, let us not forget that it's important for the delegates to present themselves as, genuinely as they possibly can, as empowered as they possibly can, and in a way that they feel like they are properly represented. If she was to change drastically everything that she's doing, I feel like she wouldn't shine as much, or the confidence wouldn't come across as much. I don't have many concerns going into prelims for her. I think that she will definitely deliver on the performance. That is not one of my concerns when it comes to her. I will point out just with the styling, I mentioned this before, she always goes with the big hair, which is fine. But when you're going with such a statement hair, I want her to give me a gown that has dimension, that has proportions, that gives me a silhouette, that creates an illusion that sells art for us. So that's just my personal take on this. But again, Melissa, super strong. I am so happy that she's finally a Miss Universe. I'm still in denial. Somebody comment, pinch me. I talked about Miss Universe China yesterday on the channel as well, and I mentioned all of the incredible reasons why I feel like she is one of the dark horses in this year's competition, coming from a country that doesn't really value pageantry that much, and to be honest, that barely follows it because of social media restrictions when it comes to the internet in China. She doesn't bring that much of a following or a support system in this year's edition. However, her performance, her beauty, and everything else has been so consistent that she has become one of those international fan favorites for fans from all over the world, not just from China. So I feel like going into prelims, if anything, her challenge will be to keep up the momentum and be able to also step it up when it comes to the looks, the performance, considering that everyone else will do the same. There isn't anything that I will drastically change, as I feel like one of the reasons why she has been standing out is precisely because she's been able to meet our expectations and in a lot of scenarios also exceed them. So keep it up, amp it up a little bit more if you can, but don't change anything drastically. And I think that she might be able to go even further than my current ranking. We'll see in my video after prelims. At number 22 on my list, we have Miss Trinidad and Tobago Latifah Morris, and I talked about her yesterday on the channel as well. I feel like she's one of those delegates that is racing very, very fast in the competition, and her potential, her performance, her looks are just undeniable. Especially when it comes to the fashion sense, I feel like she is really out there. She's not scared to experiment a little bit with the fashion and not just go the traditional pageant route. So that has made her one of the most interesting delegates to follow in this year's edition. Again, I feel like I'm a little bit conservative with the 22 position. I feel like realistically she can make it even into the top 12, but I want to keep her in this position, just be conservative before prelims, because I feel like that's when everything will be consolidated. So we have to stay tuned for my after prelims leaderboard. But I know that she can deliver on the fashion, so I'm not worried for the evening gown. She has proved herself during the swimsuit show, so I feel like performance-wise, there's not any major concerns. And I'm very confident that she did very well as well during the closed door interview. So it's almost secured for her the top 30 placement. But again, let's keep her here for now, and let's check back up after prelims. At 21 on my list, we have a delegate that gave us a lot to talk about, and that is, of course, Miss Universe Mexico. Fatima has been very controversial for a lot of different reasons, and I think that, you know, in a way, she almost reignited the interest of a lot of people for Miss Universe, because obviously pageant fans have been involved since the very beginning, but casual viewers were brought into it when the drama with Nawat exploded a couple of days ago. That gave her a lot of new supporters, a lot of people who wanted to see her do well, who admired her resilience and the fact that she stood up for herself and what she believed in, which is amazing. I think that looks-wise, she has been pretty consistent. I think that sometimes she is a little bit on the safe side. She is not necessarily your risk taker when it comes to fashion or any of these other metrics. Performance wise, I feel like she is also pretty decent as well, very strong. But I have to acknowledge that some of her, you know, the other delegates who are also within the same continent or who might be seen as competitors to Mexico have been stepping it up. And I feel like she has to push herself a little bit further, especially during prelims. I feel like that will be a very, very important moment for her. But again, considering everything that went down, the story and the narrative that has been built around herself at this point, I would really be surprised if she was not at least in the top 30 during finals. At number 20 on my list, we have Miss Universe Nigeria, Basil Onyinyechi. Again, a girl that has been super consistent since the very beginning of the competition, and I honestly feel like it's one of the delegates who has grown and improved the most, especially when you compare her where she was at the moment of her coronation. She has continuously put in the work and continuously listening to feedback and improving as much as she possibly can. It's no secret to anyone that Nigeria has a strong support system back home in her country, but I feel like because of her consistency and how she has been showing up in every single event, the activities and the different shows, she has also gained a lot of international support as well. Prelims will be important for her. Why? Well, because it's the decisive moment, right? So I feel like as of right now, she has kind of secured that spot within the top 30. Let's not forget that she is also aiming to make history for Nigeria, as last year's placement was the highest ever for the country. So there's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation. And with the right approach, I feel like she will do well. I honestly hope, I'm crossing fingers, that her wardrobe will be a little bit better than what Chichi had last year. Great performance, beautiful girl, but the wardrobe wasn't my cup of tea. So I hope that none of that will be happening with Onyinyechi. So far, great. Keep it up. I'm rooting for you, girl. At number 19, we have another divisive delegate in this year, and that is, of course, Miss Universe Latina, that I've talked about quite a lot. And, you know, even I pronounce myself about not being so in favor of Miss Universe Latina as a reality show. And I said that, you know, if they want to do that, then they should have also Miss Universe Asia, Miss Universe Africa, Miss Universe Europe, just to be fair with everyone, you know? But you know what? as much as I don't like the concept of the reality show, I have to give Yamilex her flowers because she has consistently shown up. I mean, there hasn't been a moment where I felt like, oh my God, she dropped the ball, looks wise, performance wise, communication skills wise. And I kind of expected this because I've said before, this girl has been preparing for the longest time, and going to Miss Universe has always been her dream. I feel it. I can see it. You can tell that there is that hunger to excel, to really prove people wrong. I know that there's a lot of people who love her and who support her, but there's also a lot of people who don't see it for her. And because of that, I feel like she has turned that negative energy into motivation to go even further. So I'm really looking forward to see how she's going to handle this. I think she will be one to keep your eyes on. At number 18, we have Miss Universe Brazil, another candidate that has really grown on me quite a lot. And honestly, from the early beginnings, sometimes not even putting her on my list, and now seeing her as a threat in the competition. I mean, she is even more than half the way through my ranking. So I feel like she has gone above and beyond to really prove everyone when it comes to what she can offer. Performance wise, looks wise, charisma, communication skills. I feel like the girl is really the full package. And in an ideal world, I would love to see her go even further, but it's no secret that the competition is getting stiff at this point. So prelims might be one of those moments where not really to prove herself in terms of what she can do, because I've already seen what she can do and I'm happy with it, but just to kind of prove that she can overshadow or outpace some of the front runners and the people that might be a little bit ahead in the competition. At number 17, I have Miss Universe Bangladesh, who has been another revelation in this year's competition. I feel like from the arrival moment to where we are right now, just one day before prelims, she hasn't stopped amazing us with the different looks, with her communication skills through the interviews and the public appearances, with the performance. I feel like I haven't really seen a girl from Bangladesh who has been able to deliver to this extent. And I talked about her yesterday on my last video. And like Bangladesh as a country is often overlooked, sometimes not even present in some pageant systems. So all of this is quite new, and the fact that she's been able to be so good, so consistent in every single moment is truly remarkable. It's also remarkable that she's been able to pull in so much crowd, people supporting her, voting for her. At some point, she was going against Miss Universe Philippines in terms of the popular vote. So just imagine like the thousands and thousands of people rooting for her. And I'm sure that with the whole package that she is and the support that she is getting, Miss Universe must see the potential. They have to see it. I mean, that's just powerful. Not everyone can do that. At number 16, we have Miss Universe Croatia, one of the early favorites, and for a lot of people, one of the front runners within the European continent. And I still agree with this statement. When I look at what she has been doing since the very beginning, I feel like she has never let me down when it comes to the wardrobe, when it comes to the public appearances. I know that last time when I mentioned in one of my videos that I wanted to see a little bit more of her personality, some people were triggered about it. But of course I can go on her social media and like scroll through it and get to know her on a really, really personal level. But keep in mind that the average pageant fan doesn't do that. The average person doesn't go and stalk every single one of the girls. So I feel like when the camera is on her for an official event, an official activity, she needs to let that personality shine through a little bit more. Well, now they had the closed door interview, so hopefully she was able to accomplish that. And now prelims will be mostly about the technical part, right? So the look and the walk for the evening gown, look and walk for the swimsuit round, both facially, physically, and the walk is really, secured for her. So I have no doubt that she will be able to advance pretty far. At number 15 on the list, we have Miss Universe Zambia, Miss Kunda, of course, that I've been talking about in pretty much every single video that I've made about Miss Universe this year. And the reason why I do that and the reason why I'm so proud of what Kunda has accomplished, and I don't want to be redundant because I've mentioned this before, is that she has just managed to put Zambia on the map in terms of Miss Universe. I feel like for the longest time, they have been really overshadowed and they have been not given that spotlight, and perhaps even before they didn't necessarily have the support system to be put in a position where they were so visible. Well, Kunda has really managed to get the people to rally behind her, to really show up for her, to really put her name out there. And I feel like that goes already such a long way, because when there's so many people, constantly bringing you up, it's impossible to not see you. But the most important thing about Kunda is that she has also been able to deliver. To be frank, there's a lot of candidates in this year's edition. There's 120 countries in this year's edition, and a lot of those countries have a lot of support. Some of them are very loud, but not everyone has the preparation and the skills and the personality and the stage presence to pull it off, to really justify the hype. And I feel like that's the one thing that Kunda has done so well. She gathered the people, they showed up, they've been able to, bring her up in the competition, but also she has done her homework and she has delivered every single time. That is what matters the most. And, I'm crossing fingers, I'm getting the chills. I really hope that she's able to make history and place. Right now I have her at 15. I'm a little bit conservative when it comes to this. I'm crossing fingers for a top 12 for Kunda, and even more, why not? Let's hope for that. At number 14 on my list, we have Malta, and I'm really excited to talk about her because yesterday I made a video about the delegates who are peaking in the competition and all of these things. And I feel like I could have talked about Malta in that list. When you think about it, Malta has been competing at Miss Universe for years and they haven't really obtained a placement as of yet. So the fact that Malta is not only one of the strongest delegates in this year's competition, but that also, in my opinion, has become one of the front runners, not just in Europe, but as an overall candidate, is truly remarkable. She has been gaining momentum like no other. And again, the reason why I didn't put her in that list is because I felt like I didn't see her anymore as this like up and coming candidate. I saw her already as a front runner. Looks wise, performance wise, I feel like really few girls in Europe come even close to her performance skills. The looks are also really on point, and in the communication skills are no concerns. So overall, pretty strong package. I hope that she's able to deliver even more to amp it up for prelims, because that will definitely be a decisive moment for her, which could potentially help her to make history for her country. I'm currently editing the video and I just realized that once again, I forgot to film Miss Portugal's segment, and I'm so sorry for that. I promise you it's not on purpose, but I gave her the 13th position on my list because I feel like ever since the beginning, Miss Portugal has shown that she is really that girl. She is really super versatile. She can do it all. She can perform. She has the wardrobe. She has the communication skills. And I feel like there hasn't been any instances where she really let us down. I commented before that, in like a couple of events, maybe like one event, I was not crazy about some of the styling choices, but I still believe that in terms of like facial beauty, physical beauty, performance skills, technicalities, she is really perhaps one of the strongest, if not the strongest delegate of Europe. So my expectation for her is really high going into prelims. Let's see if she's able to keep up her momentum. Let's get officially into my top 12, and the first delegate that I want to talk about is Miss Universe Chile, Ina Moll, who has been one of the fan favorites since the very beginning, one of the most heavily supported on social media as well, and arguably one of the most beautiful candidates as well. There hasn't really been a moment in the competition where I feel like she has let me down in terms of the looks. The wardrobe is always really on point. I feel like her personality, her communication skills are very solid, and she comes across as very relatable, very likable, very solid. And those are definitely things that Miss Universe will value in terms of like seeing her as a potential title holder. I do feel like she has to kind of recover from those things. And to be honest, since the very beginning, being a fan favorite, I think that some of the other girls have been stepping it up as of right now. Her performance during the swimsuit show was very good, but other girls were able to deliver a little bit more, in my opinion. So I feel like although she's a front runner for many, she still has a couple of things that she needs to prove going into prelims. So that will be her challenge. That will be her homework. Hopefully she's able to complete it successfully. At number 11 on the list, we have Miss Universe Puerto Rico, Sashley. It's another delegate who has been so consistent since day one, all throughout the concentration up until now. So leading into prelims, I feel like she is in such a good position when it comes to where she currently is, her potential to obtain a placement, what she has delivered so far. I'm pretty sure that she did incredibly well during closed-door interviews, so I'm not even concerned about that. And we have seen in many occasions that she has the wardrobe to back her up, that she has the performance skills to back her up. So to be quite honest, she's one of those delegates that I'm putting in this position because I feel very comfortable with what she has delivered. I don't think that she has much to prove going into prelims other than just keep up what she has been doing, and I feel like that will be a reoccurring comment going into the rest of the delegates that I'll be talking about, because competition is getting very stiff. So Puerto Rico, what can I say? keep it up. You're doing amazing to begin with, so I'm not even worried about you, girl. Going into my top 10, we have Miss Universe Ecuador. Of course, Nadia Mejia, another delegate that has been considered a fan favorite since the moment that she was crowned back in Ecuador. Not just because of her looks and because of her very nice performance, her incredible wardrobe, but also because of the story that she brings to the table, you know, similar to other delegates that we talked about, like such as Olivia, such as even Vina, that have this story of perseverance and always chasing your dreams and coming back and all of those things. I feel like Ecuador also has that going on for herself because of her history competing at Miss USA, then going to Miss Ecuador, then getting a first runner-up position, then coming back again and winning the title. So there's this sense of resilience and inspiration that really comes out of her. I don't have many concerns for her going into prelims. I'm pretty sure that she will deliver. I know closely her team, and I know that they will go above and beyond in terms of the looks and the performance. I think that she needs to be mindful of her surroundings and those who are going against her so that she can really impress everyone on the runway. But again, no major concern here. Miss Universe Costa Rica has been one of the most pleasing surprises of this patch. Honestly, I just love this girl so much. And I think that she is an incredible performer. She has the looks. The wardrobe is always on point. She proved herself during the swimsuit round, the swimsuit show that they had a couple of days ago. So at some point, I even saw her as a potential title holder, as a potential winner. And I feel like this isn't really lost just yet. There's still a chance for her. Costa Rica is not really one of those countries that has massive support, but for some reason she has really been able to gather her people and get them to support her going into this year's Miss Universe. There was a little bit of a misstep with the styling, in my personal opinion, during the swimsuit show. So I'm not really worried about her for prelims. I'm just hoping that everything is on point, going from the looks to the performance to the styling. If she's able to pull those things off, I think that, you know, her possibilities of even winning the title are not completely lost. So let's see, only time will tell, but I'm staying positive. At number 8, we have Miss Universe Guadalupe, and it's no secret to anyone that she's been one of those really hyped delegates because of her track record, what she brings to the table, but also her former experience in pageantry, ending as a first runner-up at Miss World. For a lot of people, the second biggest pageant in the world, or even for certain countries, the biggest pageant in the world. So going to Miss Universe, from the moment that she was announced, she was one of those like potential title holders that everyone saw on their list. I think that there have been very few instances where there have been any missteps in the competition. I mentioned before in the opening ceremony that the look was great, but there was something off for me. Then I mentioned during the swimsuit show that there was a little bit of a, you know, stumble in there. But to be honest, to be quite frank, I think that those are such minor details that you cannot really overlook the really consistent rollout that she has provided during the competition. And I feel like she might still position herself as a crown contender. Right now, I have her at number 8, but I am pretty sure that with the right performance, if she's able to recover during prelims and show, you know, like there's no little slip, there's no little anything, she has to be so precise and so perfect during prelims, I think that she might be able to go even further. Top 5. Why not even win the crown? So bring it up, girl. At number 7 on my list, we have Miss Universe Turks and Caicos. And I am so excited for her because I feel like prelims will be a decisive moment for her. And if you watched my video yesterday, I mentioned that I really love the vibe that she carries with herself, because this girl, although she is still competing for an international crown, she already handles herself as an international title holder, which I believe is the right approach, is what all delegates should do. You know, you have to prove to the organization that you are applying for a job for which you are ready and for which you have the technical skills that are required. You have the different elements that will be mandatory for you as a title holder. There isn't much to criticize when it comes to her performance this far. I feel like she has always been extremely consistent from the looks to the performance. So if anything, just keep it up, go above and beyond, give us even more of these things that we already love. At number 6 on my list, we have Miss Universe India, Manika Vishwakarma. And to be quite honest, you guys, I was going back and forth if I was putting her within my top 5 or top 6, and I was like not really sure of what to do. But this is what I'm going to do for now, okay? So Manika has one of the most incredible stories this year at Miss Universe, from coming from the political tensions before between MGI and the organization, and, you know, winning the national title and some of the people loving her and some people giving her a little bit of backlash. I feel like she has recovered so beautifully. The girl has definitely put in the work. I mean, the wardrobe has been impeccable since day one. She has consistently been a standout in the competition because of her fashion and the wardrobe. Communication skills are just on point. Her story is so interesting, so inspiring. I think that she's such a strong storyteller, communicator, that she already has that title holder aura once again. The only one time that I feel like she was shaking a little bit in the competition was during the swimsuit show, and she had a little bit of a stumble there, and she recovered beautifully from that, similar to Miss Guadalupe that I just talked about. So going into prelims, I feel like her challenge will be simply to prove that she can deliver a perfect performance, technically speaking, without the little stumble, which I feel like is something that she will conquer easily, considering that there will not be any unexpected textures or different flooring for the preliminary, right? So if she's able to deliver on that, to be quite frank with you guys, I realistically see her a little bit more in the top 5. I just want to see how she will handle prelims. Right after that, we'll talk about her again. Now, let's officially get into my final top 5 before the preliminary competition. And at number 5, we have Veena Praveena from Thailand. I mean, arguably for a lot of people and for the average international fan, I will see that Veena was the title holder, the one to beat, the fan favorite, the front runner. And I feel like in a lot of ways, Veena has been able to maintain that momentum. There hasn't really been a moment where she really dropped the ball or something happened with a look or with a performance that she thought like, oh my God, I don't see it for her anymore. I think that she is pretty much still in the run for the crown. There was a little bit of an incident there with Nawat and Raul and, conflicts within the organization. So I even made a video when I talked about whether this situation might be affecting her chances of winning. Now things have settled. So I feel like Veena is back on the run. And if anything, I feel like she needs to just wow us the same way that she managed to do that during the finals of Miss Universe Thailand. She needs a statement look. She needs to really focus on the walk, because sometimes Veena's strength is more with the walk for this evening gown, but during the swimsuit, she needs to get very technical. So that will be the challenge. That will be what I will be looking for during her prelims performance. And once again, after prelims, I feel like we can have a better idea of where she truly stands when it comes to her chances of winning the crown. At number 4 on my list, we have Miss Universe Philippines, Atiza Manalo. And I'll tell you guys right away, in the same way that I've mentioned in this video, that for some of the delegates, I'm staying a little bit conservative. I feel like for Atiza, in this particular ranking at number 4, I'm being a little bit optimistic. And the reason for that is because Atiza came, even before she left the Philippines, I think that she was under a lot of scrutiny. Like people were criticizing her. They were really pulling together, like her different looks, her presentations, how she's presenting herself. And there was a little bit of division when it comes to the public perception. From the moment that Atiza set foot in Thailand, I feel like she has redeemed herself in such a remarkable manner. Every single look has really hit home, in my opinion. Every single performance has been very strong. Every, aspect of the competition has been a home run, in my opinion. There was a little bit of an instance a couple of days ago where people were not really happy with the look for the closed door interview, but I think that's such a minor thing. Overall, I feel like Atiza has been able to prove everyone that she is a threat in the competition and that she is extremely strong. Now, the reason why I mentioned that I was staying optimistic is because I feel like prelims will be such a decisive moment for her. There is really no room for error if she's trying to get that top 5 placement, because at this level of the competition, when we're talking about the 5 strongest of the batch, the slightest mistake might take that position away from you. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I hope that she's able to push through, because out of everyone in this competition, maybe other than Veena, she has been constantly trying for this. And I know that this is her dream. So I'm crossing fingers, hoping for the best. I know she can make it. Laban Filipinas. At number 3 on my list, let's talk about Miss Universe Colombia, who I think is one of the biggest growers of the entire batch, at least when it comes to my leaderboards and my perception. In my last video, I think I placed her somewhere in the top 20, and now for her to be a top 3 truly speaks about how much this woman has impressed me and wowed me with her performance, with her beauty, and every single aspect. I've been reading a little bit more through her biography, looking at her performances, and I'm really impressed with what she can deliver, honestly. So I think that as of right now, she has done so well that I cannot help it but to put her in the top 3. for this list going into preliminaries. This will be such an important moment for her because she will have to not only maintain the momentum, but also exceed everyone else. I mean, keep in mind, if you're at number 3, that means that you need to outshine 117 delegates in this year's edition. So it's definitely a challenge, but I think that she might be able to pull it off. At number 2, we have Miss Universe Venezuela, who has been arguably one of the most talked about delegates in this year's edition of Miss Universe. From the moment that she was crowned over a year ago, even leading up until now, through the different, controversies and the moments that people loved her and celebrated her, I feel like Stephanie has really been able to push through everything and come out on top. Arguably, since she arrived in Thailand, she has also given us so much to talk about with her looks, with her performance, with her very different approach to Miss Universe. I feel like she has a very specific looks that sets her aside from everyone else and that might be playing in her advantage. Coming from a pageant powerhouse country, obviously there's also a lot of support and a lot of expectation when it comes to what she's doing and how she's delivering on stage. But I feel like she will definitely bring all her tricks, all her strengths will be put together for prelims. Her last performance during the swimsuit show was a little bit divisive. Some people were not feeling the pace and the rhythm that she brought on stage. So I feel like there's a little bit of that going into prelims. She needs to kind of redeem herself to gain back those people who were doubting her because of the last presentation. So there's a little bit of pressure. The ranking might go down a little bit if she doesn't deliver, but based on everything else that she has done up until now, I'm putting her at this very generous second position on my list. All right, and last but not least, at number 1 on the list, we have no other than Miss Olivia Yassé from Côte d'Ivoire. I mean, come on now. Olivia has been one of my favorites, if not my favorite delegate to win the title of Miss Universe 2025 since the moment that she was announced as one of the contenders. I've been over the moon with her comeback, and I think that she didn't keep anything in terms of her preparation and all of the stuff that she has been pulling since the beginning. When I look at Olivia performing and the way that she's presenting herself through the different looks and the concepts and the stories that she has incorporated into her wardrobe, her photo shoots, her different videos, it is tangible. It is so obvious that this girl has prepared extensively for this moment and that she didn't just join because they wanted to appoint her or everything. You can tell when a candidate joins because she is ready to give a good fight, and that's what I'm getting from Olivia. Now, I feel like honestly I could sit here and talk positive things about Olivia for hours, but I also want to mention that as much as I see her as a potential title holder and that she has all of these incredible things going on for herself, prelims would also be a challenge for her. Why? Because being the front runner, being the fan favorite, being the leader in Africa, wearing so many different hats, the pressure can really get to you. And I hope that Olivia is able to put all of those thoughts aside and really focus on just enjoying the moment. She has trained so much for this moment. She is technically almost perfect on stage. So girl, just enjoy it. Make sure that you are, taking this moment in because you fought so hard for it, and I hope that you can appreciate it. We already see it for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Just go ahead and show them why you deserve to be the next Miss Universe. All right, everyone, so that concludes my Miss Universe pre-preliminary top 40 leaderboard when it comes to this year's edition of the pageant. As I said, we will revisit this entire thing after prelims. I will probably cut it down to a top 30. So stay tuned for that because this is an ever-evolving story. Let me know down below, how do you feel about my list, the candidates that I put in, if there's someone else that you would like to include, and how do you feel about my comments and feedback for every single one of the delegates. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe for more content. I will see you soon with another review.